Hi, everyone. My name is Frank Malakote. I'm an anchor reporter for KTVU Fox 2 in the San Francisco Bay Area. And my guest this afternoon out of Northern California, he's the Divisional Commander Major Ivan Wild and Major James Sullivan, the Divisional Secretary out of Alameda County right here in the Bay Area, which incorporates Oakland, amongst other cities. They both work for the Salvation Army, and I just want to say welcome, guys. Good to have you with us.
Thank you. Thank you. It's good to be here.
A pleasure. I was doing a little homework on the Salvation Army, and as a kid growing up, I used to get clothing there or donate, that kind of thing. But once you dive in, it is just astounding how much you folks really do in terms of feeding the poor and taking care of the sick and whatnot. Why don't we start with you, Ivan? Give our viewers just an idea of what exactly the Salvation Army does.
Well, the Salvation Army is worldwide. We're in 130 different countries, and of course, here it's been in the United States for well over 100 years. And the Salvation Army does so much for those that are in need, from sheltering to transitional living to drug and rehabilitation, to visiting the sick, to feeding with food distribution, after school programs, and of course we do have our spiritual component, our churches, in all of that. So we just have a wide scope. Whatever is the need in a community, each Salvation Army unit, they will try to provide for anyone in that community. So those programs will develop around the local need most of the time.
And James, I know you take care of Alameda County, major county here in the San Francisco Bay Area with your headquarters in Oakland. Tell us more on a local level what you folks do.
So we have 5 locations in Alameda County stretched throughout the county. We have homeless shelters. In fact, my office right now is in a homeless shelter. This window behind me, there are families that are living here. We have 16 families that are living on site. And at our, we have a homeless shelter here. We also have feeding programs that are feeding people that are in need. We distribute food, and we have 4 worshiping congregations in here in Alameda County as well.
Well, food is a big part of what the Salvation Army does, feeding the homeless, food programs for low-income families. Tell us how COVID-19 has affected you, James, at the local level.
Well, it's been significant. Although we've had to cut back in some areas, the Salvation Army generally has expanded our ministries. And here in Alameda County, we've expanded our services, particularly in food. We've developed a mobile homeless lunch ministry. And so, in fact, just before I got on the call, I met with our volunteers that were going out to share sack lunches to homeless individuals that are living in encampments in downtown Oakland. And we're going to distribute about 350 lunches today. We've been doing that every single day. And since the beginning of the shutdown, we've served over 11,000 meals to the homeless. So we've ramped up our services, and we want to make sure we're there for people in need. We're continuing to do the regular programs. I mean, we're not having people coming for congregational activities. Those things have moved online. But we've expanded our food box distribution in 4 of our centers across the county. We have lines of people that are coming every day to get food from the Salvation Army, and we've seen a 400% increase in people that are coming to the Salvation Army. And we want to make sure that we're there for everyone that comes to us.
And Ivan, how do you take care? You've got a bigger demand, you've got more restrictions. How do you take care of all that?
Yeah, well, what's the one thing that's been to our strength is that the local Salvation Army, each local Salvation Army is really engaged with the community. So they have a donor base, they have a volunteer base, they work in partnership with many different agencies. So we have the infrastructure that allowed us to build up our scope of services. But the demand is huge. James had mentioned about 400% increase. That is consistent across our whole region. The demand, and one thing that really struck me is and when I've been out help serving on Fridays from our parking lot here at our headquarters, is the amount of people that are coming in for the very first time. And so the numbers have just skyrocketed. I'm not really big into statistics, but I'll just give you one, is that since March 16th, over 150,000 individuals have come to the Salvation Army in our region, including Alameda and through Northern California. But what's allowed us to serve that demand is the volunteer base, our advisory board organizations of people that we partner with. And because we have the infrastructure, we're able to maximize the flow of food through food banks and through donations, and able to structure it in a way to serve it. But we've had to adapt. It's interesting. This is the first time I've ever seen drive-through food box distributions.
Right,
and so, and then with the mask and the gloves and the social distancing, and only allowing so many volunteers at a time so that we can fall within all the CDC guidelines and keep everyone safe. So it's just been an incredible experience to see how people have adapted so quickly to meet the demand. And that's the one thing during the crisis, people do rally together. And I'm very grateful and thankful for people like James who are on the front lines every day and coordinating it all.
And Ivan, one more question your way before we get back to James. What about, you've got this huge demand, you've got these new restrictions. Are you worried that you won't have enough to take care of those? Are you worried about a shortage from the fields, distribution, all that kind of thing?
I mean, it is a concern. I don't know if I'm at the worried stage yet, but it is a concern. Financially is also another concern, and that's why Giving Tuesday and opportunities like that is really important for the Salvation Army. This time of the year, during the springtime, is one of our second biggest time of fundraising through our galas and luncheons and annual dinners. All of those obviously had to be canceled between March all the way through June, as far as we know. So we're really hoping that people get into the online giving who would normally come to those events, the Giving Tuesday, because those funds, wherever they're donated from, go directly to that local community. And I really want people to know that. It goes directly to local community to allow the Salvation Army to put into practice all that it's doing to meet the high demand.
Well, I was going to wait on Giving Tuesday.
Oh, sorry.
No, by no means. But it is a very big day for a lot of nonprofits, especially the Salvation Army, because it's a day to take care of charities. It's going to happen on Tuesday, May the 5th. And let's switch back to James now and tell us how important and what does the Salvation Army at the local level in Alameda County have planned for that day, James?
So we've got a lot of things that are happening this coming week. We are preparing for a distribution of 1,000 boxes of food. We're working with a partner in Castro Valley, Three Crosses Church, and we're going to be working with them and distributing about 1,000 boxes of food. And that's one of the big things that we're doing to make things happen. We're also working with the LDS Church, and the LDS Church is actually providing the food for this distribution. And we're hoping to see 1,000 cars come through on this one-day delivery. We're looking at Saturday. I think we have to confirm it, but it's going to be probably the 15th or 16th of May. And so a lot of new people. We're seeing a lot of new faces, not just the regulars that come to us month after month, but we're seeing hundreds and hundreds of new families that we didn't see before. And that's a concern, and we want to make sure we have enough resources to provide for them.
On that same note, how thankful are these people, especially the ones that have never been there before? How do they react to this kindness?
Oh, the stories are amazing. They are so happy that the Salvation Army and the community as a whole is there for them. Some of them, the stimulus checks went very, very quickly. Some of those they use them to pay their rent, and now they're questioning, where am I going to go next for food? And so our customers, our people are so grateful that the Salvation Army is here. And I've seen moms in tears because the Salvation Army was open. I've seen children that are just overwhelmed with joy. Some of our deliveries, we've been doing some deliveries to seniors, and the seniors more than any are so appreciative of the Salvation Army. You came all the way to my house to deliver this food to me. That speaks miles of volumes to a senior who's home and in need.
I think we're all a little more thankful. And I know I'm thanking the UPS guy for dropping off a package at a neighbor's house, just saying, or the grocery clerk saying, hey, we appreciate what you do, because you're almost like first responders too out there, let alone giving away food. Why don't you chime in on that as well, Ivan? Just the reaction from maybe a A
Yeah.
bigger look here in Northern California, parts of Nevada, how thankful these families are.
Yeah, I've had the opportunity to go to several different sites on the distributing days, and we were up in Santa Rosa where we actually have a senior, it's called the Silvercrest, where we have seniors, residents for seniors. And so the local Salvation Army partners with them, and every week, once a week, they come and deliver food boxes to the individuals in those homes. And we got an email from them. One of the ladies, the seniors, was so thankful that she considers that weekly food box as receiving a hug, because it's the one time that she actually gets face to face with somebody. We still keep the social distancing, the mask, the gloves, and all that. And though they're doing activities for them inside their homes individually, providing with activities, she views it as receiving a hug. And I think that's, with the Salvation Army, for us, it's more than just the food. It's about the hope. It's about the encouragement. It's keeping people well, both physically, spiritually, and emotionally. And I think that's one strength that the Salvation Army has in its distributing, because people like James and myself, we see it as a calling. It's a love for people. We want to make sure people are well taken care of. And I think as those clients or customers come to the Salvation Army, they get a sense of that. When I'm at the lines distributing food, I'll be honest, I like to kind of just greet people and let everybody else do the physical work. But what I do is I always ask how are you doing? How are your kids? How are your family? And then I always say, can I pray for you? Can I pray for you? And undeniably, every single body says, please, yes, that would be so nice. And we just give a word of encouragement and just a blessing over them. And it just means so much. And one other thing we do across the division, a lot of our local units, they're also put together family packs. And so families that we've normally had contact with, they put together various family packs. So like every week it's a different activity, a different theme. And those go to families in the community. Roseville, they started off with just 50, and now I believe they're up to about 200 families that they go deliver these family packs to. So it's just amazing to see what the Salvation Army is doing across Northern California.
And that's why you do what you do, I think, right?
Amen. That's right.
For sure.
Yes, absolutely. And it is touching. It's very moving. The officers, people like James, who are there every day working more on the front line, I get to visit. We do a lot of the administration. I do these great interviews and I appreciate it. But I'd like to hear the stories. There's one touching one here in Sacramento, in Rancho Cordova. The people are driving in and receiving food boxes. However, a homeless gentleman came onto the property, and the officer stopped what he was doing, went to the homeless gentleman and asked, would you like some food? And he said, no, I just want some water. So he went and got him some cold water to give him. And when he looked down, he realized he had no shoes. He had plastic bags on his feet. Mm-hmm. And so the officer, even though it's not a normal collection site for donations, said, hey, let me find some shoes for you. So he went into the building, and it just so happened, I don't believe it's a coincidence, but it just so happened there was a pair of shoes that fit the gentleman's feet. So he sat down with them. He put the shoes on his feet, just sat there and talked with them. And then this homeless gentleman took the water and went along his way. But it's just moments like that that shows the power of encouragement. It really means a lot to that individual. And we hope and pray that he will go on, come back to us, receive other services. And the one thing that Salvation Army does is we have a continuum of care. It's taking people from the streets to offer encouragement, get them into shelters, to get them into transitional living. If they have issues with drug addiction or alcohol addiction, we work with them that. And then after that, we have other programs like culinary and construction schools. We have workforce development that they go into. And we have a tremendous success rate in our workforce development, even in Alameda, here in Sacramento. 90% of our graduates go on to full-time work. So we have this continuum of care that the Salvation Army has for the individual, because we want to walk with them throughout the whole journey and really help them in transformation of their lives. And we can do it because the community supports the Salvation Army, and we really appreciate the support we get.
Well, as my dad would say, that's why there's a mile in smile,
There you go.
Making people happy, not only today, but down the road and safe as well. James, let's get back to you real quick. Talk about Alameda County and how you're protecting your volunteers and those people handing out food and making sure those that you are housing and taking care of are safe as well from COVID-19.
Yeah, we want to make sure that all of our volunteers are protected and they're safe as well. And so we maintain all the social distancing guidelines. We've got the masks and gloves for all of our, particularly as we go out to the homeless camps. It's been really interesting. We have been extra protector of our volunteers that are going out to the homeless camps. We have minimal contact. We're handing a lunch to them. We're handing, sometimes it's a little pack that has shampoos and toothbrushes and things like that. We're handing those out, but we make sure that our volunteers maintain a distance and that they're also protected with the PPE. We've also been able to distribute about 10,000 plus masks here in Alameda County through our 4 local sites. We've made sure everyone that comes in our buildings is wearing those and that they're protected. And then here at the Garden Street Shelter, we're using gloves. Not only the kitchen staff, but all of our staff are wearing gloves on a regular basis to protect them from the virus.
And Ivan, back to you now. Giving Tuesday, I don't think you got to talk about that, but just talk about the importance of May the 5th for the Salvation Army.
Yeah, it is a really big opportunity for the Salvation Army to hopefully receive the funds, donations that will carry us forward to keep our infrastructure in place, to keep the staffing available. We're streamlined as much as possible because we want people to be safe. And so, a lot of our units are on the border of being understaffed. And so these donations really do go a long way. I think the Salvation Army has a great track record in its administrative costs, keeping the costs way, way down locally as well as nationally, so that that every dollar that is given to the Salvation Army is maximized, and it really is stretched far to make sure that the people in every community, their needs are met. And so we're committed to that. The Salvation Army is here to stay. We've been here for over 120 odd years in California, and we're here to stay. As well, why the need, the Salvation Army is here, but we definitely need the support of the community. And I can't say thank you enough from my position overseeing Northern California. The stories, the people that send letters or send in a donation in their heart, saying, "Oh, when I was a child, the Salvation Army helped me. I didn't even realize we were that poor. My parents never told me, but it was the Salvation Army that was providing Christmas gifts for us at the Christmas time." And so we hear those stories all the time, and that just blesses me, touches my heart. It's what kind of gives me the strength to keep moving forward and doing all that we can in this crisis and other things to come as well.
Well, I've done some stories on food banks, and the one in Alameda County, and James, you can attest to this, 1 in 5 families in Alameda County, which does incorporate some pretty nice areas, need help on a daily basis. So I'll let James get in the final word here real quick.
Yep.
Virtual food drive. I know you've got one going on your Facebook page. How can people help out?
Well, we need people to go onto the virtual food drive and make a donation, because we will turn that donation around into food given to hungry homeless families and hungry families and people that are in our shelters, people that are in recovery programs, and we will turn those dollars around very quickly to serve those in need. We're really counting on those dollars to show up. We're all watching as our economy seemed to struggle. We're watching our donor dollars very carefully to make sure that we will have enough dollars to provide for every single person that comes to the Salvation Army for assistance. Up to this point, we haven't had to say no to anybody that comes to us, and we'd like to continue to be able to do that.
Well, that's awesome. And if people do want to help out, Ivan, what do they need to do to get in touch with you folks at Salvation Army?
Yes, they can go to our website at covid19.gosalarmy.org. That's covid19.gosalarmy.org. And wherever they contribute from, whatever area they come from, those funds go back to that specific area. So check out that website. There's a lot of other information about what the Salvation Army's response has been in the last 8 weeks.
Well, gentlemen, great to chat with you. Congratulations on the great work. Keep it up, and thank you for all.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, that's Ivan Wild and James Sullivan, both from the Salvation Army here in the greater California area. I'm Frank Malakote here in the San Francisco Bay Area as well. We'll send it back to you.